We're live in living color. What's up, family? I hope everybody is doing good on today. You already know. You already know what our instructions, what our requests are going to be starting off. Please press the share button. After you press the share button, please let us know where you are tuning in from. But before you even do that, I need you to go to YouTube. Go to YouTube and subscribe to YLC TV. I'm sure my two co-hosts on here today have also seen all the work that we're doing here at the direction of, first, let's just give a shout out. Let's give a salute. Let's show some love to our fearless leader, Elder Mark Moore Jr., and the entire YLC squad. What's up, Emmanuel? What's up, sir? Just this YLC TV and everything they're doing, the content from the Quarantines Got Talent to our Leaders or Readers Book Club to prayer to Spirit and Truth to the Rewind Revival. So salute to Elder Moore and the team for just being as creative as you all are. But to be connected with what they're doing, go to YouTube, youtube.com/YLC TV. So we thanks for the love. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know where you're tuning. We got Houston, Texas in the building. I need all my co-hosts. I need y'all to be sharing as well. We have Connecticut in the building. My phone has a spirit on it, so it's moving a little slow right now. So I'm gonna share in a second. I don't know why I had to update my instant messenger. Cool. So press the share button, and we are getting ready to get into the discussion. We're just gonna go over 2 chapters today. Be not afraid if you have not read the book. Still, we want you to tune in, and we want you to be a part of our discussion on today. So before we even get to the book, as you guys are pressing the share button, Joe, Mighty Joe Wilson, what's going on, man? Joe, you hurt my heart. I was looking, it was about a few weeks ago when you posted, or it was Elder Moore, one of y'all posted the concept of what it was going to look like. We got the boss man. Headquarters is in the building.
All right.
Headquarters is the ATL. It is the ATL. So we are excited about it. But Joe, when Mark posted the renderings of what it was going to look like, oh man, I'm salty that we had to postpone YLC 2020. But I'm excited about what we have going here. Let me turn this down and press the share button. So before we get into our book club, how are you guys doing? Let's start off with my brother right here. Tomorrow is your wedding anniversary, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
congratulations.
So it's been 12 years, and man, God's just, blessed us, with favor and 3 beautiful children. So just grateful, man, that I got an amazing woman who loves God, who know how to pray. Go
ahead, brag on your wife.
Phenomenal. So yeah, I'm grateful to God that I have somebody who's she's been with me every step of the way, and I'm just excited for where God's taking us. But yeah, 12 years tomorrow, man. So thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. My sister, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm absolutely wonderful.
Dope. I am trying to, let me see here. I thought I was sharing it, and I ended up doing a watch party. I'm doing too much at this time. All right, so we're
that watch parties are good too.
We're going to go over chapters number 9 and 10 today. We're going to go over chapters 9 and 10 today. But before we do that, I need a few more of you all to go ahead and press that share button, and then we are going to get into the discussion. Who did I ask to kick us off on chapter number 9? Was that you?
Yeah.
That was you, Tim?
Yep.
Tim, start off our discussion, and let's get into chapter number 9 of our book. We've been reading The Happiness of Pursuit. So there's a bunch of nuggets in here. So once again, if you haven't read the book, we still want you to be on. If you have not, we do want you to press share. We got Baltimore in the building, our brother and friend, our political pundit, Mr. Marvin James. So Tim, let's get into chapter number 9 and let's get this discussion going.
All right. So yeah, chapter 9 was titled Forward Motion. And I really like the way he opened this chapter up. Actually, the lesson I like, the quote is, quests are boring. All you have to do is put one foot in front of the other. And so
Right.
As a general understanding, you know, I kind of like that he's talking about no matter what it takes, you just got to keep moving forward. And there'll be times throughout your quest that it feels like, you know, you're just, you know, going in a steady motion and feels like things aren't as exciting as they can be, but you just got to keep going. And he opens with the story of from the great poet Homer about Odysseus. And so he talks about how he goes through all these different things. And at the end, he still prevails in getting back to where he needs to, which is getting back home.
Hey, Tim, can I stop you real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Connecticut, but we have Africa in the building. Wow.
Oh, wow.
I think we got to clap it up. I need to
That's
put
right.
all the emojis and the hand clap.
Zimbabwe.
Put it all in there.
International.
We got Africa in the building. I had to stop and
awesome.
do that. But I want to pause and really go over that quote that you were talking about, Tim.
Yep.
Where it says, quests are boring. All you have to do is to put one foot in front of the other. And what we'll see even within this chapter is just the power of consistency.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And the power of, if I'm consistent in my quest, and remember, we talked about a quest at the beginning of this, not just being a life goal or trying to lose weight, but a quest is an extended journey with peaks and valleys that you conquer something. So let's just have a brief conversation amongst the three of us. And even within the comment section, I want to hear from you. The power of consistency. How powerful is it to do the simple things one step after the other? How powerful is that? I want to throw that out there to you guys real quick.
Sister, you want to go ahead or?
Sure. So it's critical. It's important because when you think about, even when you think about weight loss, and you think about you consistently eating fast food, well, when you look at that over the course of the year, I mean, what does that look like? That looks like about 30 pounds heavier, right?
Right.
So if you look at the consistency of eating right 6 days a week, you know, and then eat whatever you want 1 day a week, you'll eventually see the consistency of your habits and your decisions. So consistency is powerful. It's a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think even with that, kind of taking it not just from the general perspective, but making it even more narrow to what we're doing and applying it to our own life, is the fact of what small steps am I currently not doing in my life?
Oh,
right?
that's good.
It's amazing how we're so good at pointing the finger at other individuals and saying, well, all you got to do is this, and all you got to do is that, and it's this simple. But really understanding, and not even in our quest, but let's even take it a step further in our prayer life. Not about praying, but what things am I praying for? Am I asking God to do? What miracles am I believing God to do in my life that I'm not taking the small steps or the simple steps to be consistent over? Because here we go, the steps of a good man
order.
That's right.
So even as you're watching this, what small steps are hindering huge growth?
That's a good word.
That's good.
What small steps are hindering your huge growth? How much further could you be in life if you spent 15 minutes when you first woke up in prayer and reading your word? How much further, how much more creativity, how much more could God download into you? How much more revelation could you have if you took some of those small steps? That makes sense?
Right.
Yeah.
It does.
So I'll go ahead, Tim. I'm gonna throw it back over to you. I'm gonna hop in when I can.
That's great.
We're at the MJ number right now, but we like to be, get a little high. Okay, we close to okay. We're getting better. Okay. Go ahead, Tim. Go ahead.
Yeah. So no, that's.
Let me pause again. I'm talking a lot. I apologize.
You good?
But last week we was handing out Cash App blessings. We was giving away lunch. Ain't no telling what's gonna happen this week. There's no telling how much money we gonna give away because readers are blessed individuals.
That's
so
right.
You don't know what's gonna happen. So press the share button and tune in. All right, go ahead, Tim.
No, yeah, absolutely. That consistency is key, and I think as I was reading through, I like how he kind of weaved it all together. He has the consistency piece, Then he talks about experience. This is I highlighted this because I thought it was good. Experience produces confidence, and confidence produces success. I thought that was a powerful line in there because he talks about how it wasn't until he had took like 50 trips or something that he realized, okay, you know what, I can actually do this, you know, or this is something that's achievable. So I think that, you know, that line right there stood out to me very well. Also, he said that as I gained confidence, I stopped worrying about things. And that for me was huge because I think about, you know, the times in my life where I've had to go through things and there was this lack of confidence. You can get to that point where you start to worry about people, worry about this, worry about that, and you really lose focus. And I think that's another thing he kind of highlights here is throughout the journey, sometimes if you're not consistent, you can find yourself just kind of getting off track. And so I like that he talks about this piece of experience producing confidence, and then the confidence, you know, when you gain that, you stop worrying
And
about
I wanna speak to that. I want to speak to that because I had that underlined in my part as well, because he says experience produces confidence, and confidence produces success.
Right.
It's the next sentence that I liked, and I need to go ahead and press that share button as we get ready to kind of dive into this even a little bit more. It says, I did not decide to visit every country until I'd been to more than 50. Right? So what he's talking about is the fact that this big goal that I currently have, I did not start off with that big goal. Right? I started off with something that was smaller. And then because I was successful in that, I then said, you know what? Yo, I could do even more than this.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to, and this isn't Bible study, but you know, it's just in me of not despising small beginnings. Right? Not overlooking the fact that I may have a big goal, but let me start off with something that's a little bit more attainable. Right? Let me start off with something, and that even goes with, I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of the acronym of SMART goals. SMART.
Yeah.
Specific, measurable. What's the A? Achievable. R, realistic. T, time. You know, so really setting goals that may seem so.
Yeah.
In this book, they're talking about the quest, but maybe, and I'll throw this to you guys. Maybe we all do not need to start off pursuing a quest.
Right.
Maybe we need to start off doing some small things, right?
Yeah.
Being consistent in the small things. And then you have no idea how, once you are consistent in the little, how you then have a desire to do even more. And Tim, I'm sure you'll speak on that, but it even goes into some of the examples. That is that 9 or 10? Let me see.
We talked about Mad
10
Dog.
with the examples, but in 9 he talks about how a lot of what was going on was because they were being consistent, and they did a little bit, and then they had a desire to do even more. Right.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, he gave the example of Mad Dog, this guy that they called him Mad Dog because of his persistence to keep going, you know, and they kind of actually got to the point that he got considered him crazy pretty much, just at how much he would he continued on. But it was like you said, that consistency to keep going. And then he also has an example of a guy named Scott in here that did the whole MIT challenge thing. Basically, he took the curriculum from MIT and put it on himself to pursue that. And you know, even though he wasn't officially in the program, it was his consistency and his ability to keep going to continue the curriculum, even in the midst of people who talked about him and thought he was crazy. That's the other thing I think too, is something that we always come across is you're gonna have your haters. You're gonna have your people that see what you're doing and say, you know what, you can't do that, or you're not good enough. But it's your ability to press through that and to keep going that'll get you to the place that you need to be. So Yeah, I think that was good.
Do you remember the hat lady? That the story with the lady in the hat? I want to bring that up too because it says
Let me go back.
she wanted to do 10,000 hats. Like she wanted
Yeah,
to give
yeah,
away.
yeah.
Oh
She was
yeah,
knitting,
when
yeah.
she was knitting.
Right.
Yep.
So what she said was, I'm gonna just do 100.
Right.
But I like what I have written down here. It says, well, underlined, not written down. It says, I thought 100 hats was a huge challenge, she wrote, but it was surprisingly easy. That's when I knew I needed a real challenge.
Mm.
Yeah.
I want to stop there and talk about embracing the challenge.
Mm.
Ooh,
Because
how about that?
there's a difference, and I want you to press the share button, especially if you're connected to individuals who are going after something great, going after something big. There's a difference in completing a task and being content, and being cool,
Right.
not worrying about it. And then there's another mentality, which I think we could even dub the Jordan mentality,
Right.
based off of this
The Last Dance,
documentary,
yeah.
that success doesn't make me comfortable. Success just lets me know I can do more.
I can do it. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like
And
that.
I think that we got to have that mindset that success does not mean that I'm cool, I can sit back, I can chill, I can relax. No, success should let me know, oh, if I can do this, I should set my sights and my ideas on doing even more and striving for even greater. Does that make sense? That makes sense?
Absolutely.
It does. It does. I think it definitely challenges you to not live like a mediocre life.
Right.
Because when you look at people like Oprah, Tyler Perry, they all have, let's even take Elder Mark, for instance.
Yeah.
All of them have 24 hours. I don't know how Elder Mark does it. I have no idea.
I'm on the team and I serve beside him, and I still don't know how he do it. I got an up close and personal view. Man, and I still don't get it. I still don't get it. Go ahead.
But you look at that and you're like, they have 24 hours just like I do. And they have to sleep at some point, right? They got to eat at some point, right? So I think it's encouraging, really, to kind of conquer certain things and look at other people and not to compare or contrast, but it's more of a motivator. Like, okay, you really could be using your time a bit better.
Right.
And back to what you were saying earlier too, Lewis, about the small steps. I'm pretty sure in each of those examples, like Sis was just bringing up, you can find those small steps or those small pieces or nuggets in each of their journey that kind of helps keep you on that consistent path. And I think that's the bigger lesson here that I think I picked up out of this is to move forward. You have to have those in place. You know, those things really set you up for success.
Right.
I agree. We got close. The numbers ain't good. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm about to buy somebody lunch. I'm going to buy somebody lunch. They just pulling it out of me. So here it is. We want to bless somebody with a Cash App lunch on us. You're going to have to answer the question. But before you do that, press the share button. Once we get back up to closer to our Kevin Durant number, then we'll tell you what the comment is. But press the share button to be eligible to have lunch on us. All right. Subscribe to YLC TV, and you know we're doing big things. So to be a part of what we're doing, I want you to text. I want you to text to 555-888. I want you to text the right text group. Text YLC. Just the numbers, YLC to 555-888. So that you can be the first to know what's going on here at the book club. Let's go ahead and try to start phasing out chapter number 9. I want to deal with criticism. I want to deal with criticism. What I have underlined, it says, dealing with criticism was a distraction and harder than doing the work itself. Nevertheless, Scott persevered. The critics disappeared, especially the ones who said he could never succeed. This is with the young man who you were talking about, Tim, who went to MIT, right?
Right.
And because he was trying to accomplish this daunting goal, this huge goal, people were commenting on his blog, right? And you're not going to do it. That's too much. But I love the fact that it says the critics disappeared, especially the ones who said he could never succeed.
Right.
So here's a question in the comment section. I want you to write the answer to this. How do you ignore critics? I want you to answer that in the comment section. The best answer, you're gonna get lunch on us. What is the best way, the productive way to ignore criticism? So Tim, speak on that for a little bit for us.
I think for me, what's helped, and there's not to say in any way that you got it down, but you really have to dial into what it is that's calling you, the call. You have to really dial into that, and know that, especially like for me, when God puts something on my heart and it's a call, I have to focus on that. I have to make that my sole agenda. And once I do that, it's almost like putting blinders on. It allows you to literally push out those that don't have, and you'll see it. You'll know, okay, this is not in line with what God's put in my heart. This is not in line with what God's put in my spirit. And you have to allow yourself to be encouraged. Encourage yourself in that. Although people, and that's the thing, there's no hurt like people can hurt you. People can hurt you and really tear you down. Who she thinks she is, who he think he is. They ain't that. And especially us, man, we can really go in on. And it's one of those things where I wonder how many people we have torn down so much that we missed their big quest because we tore them down so much. Think of the people whose dreams or visions never came to fruition because they were so torn down by the criticism.
Wow.
But I honestly believe you have to stay focused. You have to allow yourself to be encouraged and keep yourself around some people that are positive, that are uplifting, that support the vision and the quest that God has you on, because those will be the ones that stick around. The naysayers, like he said, they disappeared. And I believe that, as you stay consistent, like the book's talking about, and you continue to encourage yourself, you'll see that, those people will fade away. So.
Okay. I like it. Sis, what would you say?
Yeah, I would agree with him. I mean, as you continue to build whatever it is that God is telling you to build, some people's specific focus and their whole role and the purpose that they're there is to criticize you and to deter you from what it is that you're doing. And some people will get mad at you and frustrated because you didn't adhere to their advice about stopping. And so I think those people fade out the more you focus and zero in, like he said, on what it is that God has told you to do, and focus in on the goal, and just let them kind of fade away. And I think also when you determine like what goals you want to set and what you want to do and how big it is, I think it filters out your friends. It filters out people who's supposed to be there when that thing reaches its greatest maturity.
I love it. We're going to keep going here. We're going to try to be within that hour. I think that was a great time last week. So Tim, give us your closing remarks on chapter number 9, and then we're going to throw it over to our sis as we get ready to get into chapter number 10. So go ahead, bro. Your closing remarks.
I would just say, moving forward, it doesn't always look the same for everybody, but you do have to know that as you move forward, there's moments where you'll feel like, like he talks about the boredom. Just keep pressing. And as you press on, God will give you the strength that you need, to do what it is that you've been called to do. And don't worry about the criticism from the critics. You're always going to have critics. And as a matter of fact, for myself, real quick, as we're closing on this chapter, I played basketball in college as an athlete. You sometimes you need that competition, that drive. You're not good, or you can't do this, you can't do that. That for me helped drive me to be better, to practice, to go in more. Okay, I got to hit the weights a little bit harder. I gotta do more drills. But that sometimes it is a motivator. Don't always shun that. You have criticism. That criticism sometimes is an indicator that you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I love it. Well, let's keep going. Let's keep pushing. Now we're in chapter number 10. Next week is our last week. So next week, we're going to fast forward a bit. We're going to be doing chapter 15, 16, and 17. So you have to read a big chunk of this by yourself, which is what we do. Leaders are readers. But next week, we're going to deal with 15, 16, 17. But for our time today, we're going to end on chapter number 10. Sis, start us off with the discussion on chapter number 10.
All right. So chapter number 10 is the love of the craft. And it opens up with this quote: I want to be remembered as a person who wasn't afraid to start things. And for me personally, that just spoke volumes. And this chapter kind of goes through people that just wasn't afraid like to start
Right.
something or wasn't afraid to pursue something. And they pushed, I think they pushed through their barriers and obstacles, and they focused in on their desire. And what this chapter said to me was, desire is a very strong thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it makes you do I think it pushes you past your limits, and it challenges you. So so I think some of the people that we met in this chapter was very, very powerful. And one of the things specifically that stood out was, and I highlighted, don't I know how to do this already? The answer is no. You must keep doing it. The broad band starts to narrow the moment you stop. And so what that said to me was, oh God, like that's refinement. And you can't take for granted that it's something that you already know how to do. Like, for instance, some of the examples that they use with the comedians still going and doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah, stand-up
some
comedy.
of the, you know, the smaller clubs, because that's what really tells you whether or not you're good.
Right.
Because you have a bunch of yes people, let's just be honest, that surround us sometimes. And just because they see where we are and we're worth $800 million, they're scared to tell us the truth. And so when you get yourself in intimate settings,
that's good.
They don't care anything about your 800 million.
Yeah.
They care about your craft. They care about what it is that you're doing, and they're honest about it. So
and
that's
I love it. It talks about the devotion of stand-up comics.
Yes.
I was like, man, that could be a book, right?
Right.
It could, yeah.
That title and some of the content that they were discussing, I'm like, oh snap.
Yeah.
That could be a book, right?
Right.
That could definitely be a book. I want to backtrack a little bit to highlight what you were discussing as far as desire, right? And even as we get into this, thank you so much, sis. We want everybody to go ahead and press that share button. It says, when you find something you love to do, you don't want to let it go.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
so I want to ask both of you on the screen, what's something that you don't want to let go of? What's a passion? What's a drive? What's something that you just do not want to let go of? I'm going to start with Tim, and then we'll go to my sister.
Oh man, well, I got a bunch of things, but one for sure for me is my love of music. I've been a musician now for some time, and man, I mean,
what do you play?
I play keys. That's my main instrument. But then I also play some other instruments. But I can sit down at the piano, and I mean, especially if I'm having a rough day or going through whatever, and just in those moments, man, just me and God, and it's just like, I can't let that go. You know, that's something for sure that is a part of my life. It's been a part of my life through my dad and his uncles. They had a singing group back in the day and all this other kind of stuff. But music. Who said again?
Can you sing?
Can I sing a little bit? I can hold a note. Hold a note. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's something that for me, I absolutely love, and my wife knows the same thing. That's our passion is music. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, sis?
I don't ever want to let go of the desire of hearing people's stories. I think hearing people's story, I don't know, like it draws me. And actually that's something that has kind of built, you know, some of the things that I have been doing, but I never want to lose sight of just listening to somebody, because you don't know how critical that is when you're just quiet and you just listen to what it is that they have to say. And I ask God that I never want to lose my desire to hear people and to hear what they're going through, no matter how tired I am, exhausted I am. Sometimes our flesh get in the way, and you're not really trying to hear everybody, you know,
right.
in certain moments. But I never want to lose that desire to zero in on that person and how they actually feel, like for real feel, and not you know, fake feel.
No, that is
right.
What'd you say?
You said not fake feel.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now, it's amazing how just being on the opposite side of that, right? Being the person when you want a place to vent or to let your emotions or your frustration out. I know some of my best conversations where I just needed to talk to somebody. has been with the person on the other side of the phone saying these few words. You ready? This is what they say. Let me know if you ever heard this, but it makes you feel so good. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, wow. But just because they this
Yeah.
all those little moans and groans, and man, you be like, man, thank you, bro. I need to vent to somebody. They don't make no sense. They be like, yeah, man. I'll holler at you later. Boop. Just that.
Right.
So I think the fact that you have that desire to be that safe place, to be that listening ear, is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. A passion that I have that I do not want to let go of, is it's a bunch. It's several things. It's
You
several
sound like me,
things.
right?
Yeah, but one thing
bunch,
I want to do, I talked about it before. I want to buy the apartment complex that I grew up in.
Oh yeah, I heard you say that.
And then I want to renovate it, and I want to put a office in there where we help individuals become home buyers. So every time I go home, I drive. Like today, when we get done, I'm taking my kids to my dad's. It's about a 2-hour drive. We're gonna stay there today, tomorrow, eat some good barbecue on Monday, then come back home. But I always drive by there. I always drive by there, and that's really something that some of my other passions, business-wise and financially, they kind of are little, streams and rivers that will flow into eventually me having enough capital to purchase that building, and to really, really do something great. So, okay, let's keep going. I'm trying to think where else you want to go, sis. We got about 10 more minutes. Where else you want to go?
Let's go to okay, I know. I actually got
page 785.
Page
I just got to catch up with y'all because I'm still digital, but
because he got the digital version. He's like, I'm on page 1004.
I'll find you though. I'll find you.
You'll find me. All right, so it's under Exhibit A, Poke the Box. 365 days a year.
Yep.
Okay, and actually it's the second to last paragraph.
Yep.
He said, if I fail more than you do,
yep, I
win.
That's good.
Yeah. Built into this notion is the ability to keep playing. If you get to keep playing, sooner or later, you're going to make it succeed. The people who lose are the ones who don't fail at all, or the ones who fail so big they don't get to play again. I love that because just to summarize it, if you never start, you never win.
Yep.
Yeah. And it really talks about reimagining what failure is. Failure is not, failure just means I tried and I got to try again.
Right.
But sometimes we're so fearful of failure. Why? Because failure can make us be embarrassed. It can make us feel like we're losing momentum. It can, but sometimes when you try so hard to wait until everything is in the right place, in the right perspective, you never fail. But the only reason you never fail is because you never tried.
Right.
So what I think he was saying is, man, if I fail more than you, I found out more ways that do not work. And it pushes me that much closer to the place that actually does work. Right.
Yeah. I think that's an encouraging note, man, right there. Because he even says that line, like he said at the end of that, built into this notion is the ability to keep playing. So I feel like, man, that's such an encouraging word for somebody right there. You may have failed once, but that doesn't mean it's over. Keep playing, keep going, get back up, because through each failure, you're learning. There's lessons built into that. And I think that's powerful. This was, I highlighted that and I got notes all over that section right there. That's good.
Yeah.
I liked Exhibit C. About the importance of structure in a creative life.
Yeah.
I like that. And even as we get ready to discuss that, press the share button. Don't just press the share button. Let's sow into good ground as well. Cash App, $ Explore YLC. There's so much more content that Elder Moore wants to produce, that he wants to do, him and the team. So don't just listen and eat for free. Go ahead and put something in there so that they can do ministry as in a spirit of Excellent. So incorporate structure into a creative life. Press that share button. I want to get close to that MJ number. I want to read what she wrote here, where it says, I'm always surprised about the level of creativity that comes from setting guidelines and boundaries. You would think it's the opposite, that having complete freedom makes everything feel more possible. But in my experience, that is not the case. I like to say that sometimes to be the most creative, you have to get in a box instead of out the box. I'm sorry. You have to get in a box instead of standing by thinking outside the box. Often, limitations force you to think differently about challenges and lead to better innovations and ideas. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
We're so used to trying to get out the
box, right?
That we don't realize the amount of creativity that happens when you're put in a box. Right. And the best way I thought about that was this whole quarantine thing, right? How many creative ideas have we been forced to come up with?
Right.
When we've been forced to be in this box of online only.
Stay at home, right?
Right. Yeah. Like now it's not an accessory. Now it's not a, something. Now it's like, no, it has to be, you have to do it online but being forced in this box has created so many creative ideas.
Yes.
And maybe we're trying to get out of boxes that we need to stay in it for a little while so that the creativity can just kick up a notch.
That's good. Man, that's good. It's funny. It's funny you say that because I think about too, like our generation. Well, I say I think about the fact that, boxers, that's the opposite. We're like, nah, don't put me in no box, let me do me kind of thing. Like, and it's always this mindset of, I want to get out of the box. This was a complete spin, man. I love it. I think this was a great perspective to pull out. It's so easy for us to just go with that, like I said, the mindset of get out of the box. But I like that, man. This was really, really good for me. And it is just like, that was a great example. The quarantine, has caused, I know even for my wife and I with parenting, we've had to just completely reshape the way we think about things. Like, here it is, these kids are, in the house pretty much 24/7. How can we create creative ways for them to still engage in their childhood, and make sure that they're growing in the way that they need to. So, this was a really good point. I really like this section as well. It was good stuff.
Dope. Yeah. I want to end. We're getting ready to wrap it up here, about 40 minutes. I want to end on climbing the right ladder.
Yes.
Yep.
I want to end on that. It says, it's talking about Mr. Kellogg. Kellogg. It says he grew up listening to Bon Jovi and practicing air guitar in his bedroom. Somewhere along the way, the air guitar changed into a real guitar, and Stephen got his first gig. This paragraph was crazy inspiring right here. It says, times were hard in the beginning, with only a few people coming to concerts that paid almost nothing. But Stephen didn't care. He was a musician. He had the chance to play. At that point in his story, he said something that has stayed with me ever since. It's better to be at the bottom of the ladder you want to climb than the top of the one you don't.
Yeah, that part.
Let's go home.
Yeah.
It's over.
That part right there.
I'd rather be at the bottom of a ladder that I want to climb than at the top of a ladder I don't even care about.
Yeah, that jacked me up. I was like, man.
Right.
Eesh. Yeah. That right there, like you said, close the book. Because it says so much. I'm almost speechless on that part because it's such a good quote, and it like you said, there's a lot in there. It's deep. That why would you want to be at the top of a ladder that you don't? And I think that for some of us, we've gotten to that place where you look back and you go, man, did I really want to be here? You kind of have to analyze, like, what happened along the way. But I'm so grateful God gives us this thing called grace. And you can always get back to the place where you don't do that. Don't do that. So, but yeah, that quote really jacked me up. It's good stuff. Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
what this said to me, it was very, very powerful. Like y'all said, it reminds me of people that become the doctor because your parents paid for you to become the doctor, and you never wanted to be a doctor in the first place. And so now you're stuck in on a room somewhere, listening to music, creating music that nobody will ever hear. Because you're stuck in something that you didn't even want to be in the first place. And so I think it takes a lot of courage to climb a ladder that you want to climb versus a ladder that you literally can be lifted up to real easy because somebody paid the way, or because somebody knows somebody, or whatever. So I think it's very, very powerful, and I commend people that go against the grain and they don't do what people want them to do, but they do where their desires are, what their desires are.
Absolutely.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, let's close right there this week from the perspective of it's okay to be at the bottom of the ladder.
Yes.
As long as it's the ladder you want to climb.
That's good.
Yeah.
Within our generation, within what we do, we want to be at the top. And there's nothing, I want to be at the top. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying be happy at the bottom. I'm not saying strive for the bottom, but I am saying sometimes you have to be content being at the bottom.
Right.
And realizing the reason why I'm content being at the bottom of the ladder is because I know I'm going up.
Right.
I know I'm getting ready to ascend, right?
That's it.
I know I'm getting ready to do some things that eye has not seen, that ear has not heard. But as long as because being at the bottom of the right ladder is really just saying I'm finally in the right place. And when I get in the right place,
stop that.
The
Don't
next
go there.
thing is I'm in the right place. I just got to get in the right position.
Come on. Now you preach. See, look.
Now you preaching.
You're on the preach mode.
But when
so
I
good.
get in the right place, in the right space, in the right, once I get to that a ladder has the both sides. Once I get in, the place of purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit, right?
Come on.
But it makes no sense to be at the top at a ladder that you don't even care about. Find a passion. Make sure it's a God-given passion. And then be content at the bottom, but look to the top. Look at the top.
Come on.
Listen, you may be watching us right now. You don't have the largest church. You're at the bottom of the ladder. You may be a business owner watching us right now. You're not a Fortune 500 company, but you're at the bottom of the ladder. You may want to start a daycare. You don't have franchises yet. You're at the bottom of the ladder. You may be watching us right now, and you want to read more books, which is why you joined this, and you haven't even read this book. It's okay. You're at the bottom of the ladder, right? But do not be upset. Do not be you may be a graphic artist watching us right now. You may be a website developer. You may be trying to write your own book, and all you got is an outline. That's okay.
Come on.
You're at the bottom of the ladder. But I decree and declare that before we finish this book, you're going to start progressing up that ladder.
Come on.
Before we finish our time together, you're going to go from faith to faith, to glory. It's okay to be at the bottom because the prophet is declared unto us. Started at the bottom, now we here.
Come on.
That's not Bible. It's not Bible.
Right.
But
mic drop.
Yes, somebody. I don't know, was it Psalmist David or Drake? I don't know who it was. But it's okay to start at the bottom as long as you're at the right ladder. So we're getting ready to go. We're getting ready to dismiss this week. Be content at the bottom, but start working your way to the top.
Yo, that's good, man.
That's the word.
Good.
That's the word.
Good.
Be content at the bottom,
but
start working your way to the top. Next week, we're going to be discussing chapters 15, 16, and 17 as we conclude this book. I want you to go to youtube.com/YLCTV to stay connected to everything that YLC is doing on the YouTube channel. If you have not pressed the like button for the YLC page here on YouTube, I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know what's wrong with you. Go ahead and press the like button. But be content at the bottom, go to the top, and we will see you all next week. Peace.